Welcome to Advocation X, episode number 65, part 1. Time for a newsworthy World Monetary broadcast, sponsored by Baden Optical in beautiful Ontario, Canada. Now hit the like button and subscribe to push our content higher in the YouTube algorithms. Topics to tackle here and now: the gold standard, the greenback, Alan Greenspan, Nixon, ease the pain, capitalism versus corporatism, national banks, political parachutes. Let's dive deep right now. Gold standard was our best avenue to prosperity. Gold has intrinsic value and purpose. Gold has so many uses. Examples: everyone knows fabulous jewelry is made from gold. Most major electronic components rely on gold for circuit boards, etc. So much depends on gold. Being a useful material makes it a great currency. That takes us to the greenback. When it was introduced in the United States of America, it was actually based on gold and was a fairly stable currency for a while. This helped to establish the United States as a viable trading partner and helped to stabilize the capitalistic world trade. Now comes Alan Greenspan as the federal bank chairman, or Fed chair, for a long-standing period, of course. Many of his decisions were seen as at the very least treacherous, and at the highest, even treasonous. However, in Alan Greenspan's own mind, he may have thought he was doing a necessary evil. If you speak to the economist Peter Schiff, one who's renowned throughout for many accurate predictions on the markets, etc., as his father was before him, he would tell you that Alan Greenspan was a traitor. You decide. Let me know in the comments. Now, along comes Nixon. He gets power, and although his reign in the United States of America was sort of limited in scope, say thanks to his scandals, he proceeded to ruin the gold standard. He used wage and price controls in a way that reduced the country to a level of dependency that made room for unscrupulous practices to come. So, in my opinion, the only way we get our countries back under control, we ease the pain on the inhabitants of this world by using the pain of transition in small ways while revamping our entire economic monetary system. So, it may take a little bit of a welfare state in a small way for a small time. But I'm sorry, every little bit that goes out should be compensated by actual labor, actual things that are being done. Whether or not the government has to enter the competitive market by using these people who are collecting welfare or whatever to produce products in a manufacturing way that allow the government to compete with other corporations. Those people would be getting paid their welfare or food stamps or whatever you'd like to call it in exchange for their labor. This would allow the countries to transition to a balanced budget scenario where they're not constantly having to dole out, except for people who are incapable of meeting the physical standards of work required. So, with that being said, it will lower the standard of everybody, but not forever. It would only be a short while, until we're actually living within our means again. Then the only thing we need to do at that point is make a complete transition to privatizing the charitable works that the government of present day are involved in. Moving on to capitalism versus corporatism. This is a subject I've been very much interested in for many years now. It is not necessary to have corporatism in order to support capitalism. When I mention the word corporatism, it always refers to the excessive greed of some people who would milk the masses of everything they own because they say, we'll charge what the market will bear. What a concept. A novel idea, which people fell for, hook, line, and sinker. The problem is, they never know when to stop. The market as it exists today is capable of bearing the burden of the squeeze. The only way they are capable of handling that burden is because those at the bottom of the rung have dropped into the abyss and are no longer factored into the market. And the greed goes on. So, my idea on national banks could exist under a return to the gold standard. Whole world banks and individually owned banks should be exterminated. Each nation should have their own national bank that would lend money at a 1-to-1 basis to their populace. That reduction in interest cost would allow the country to immediately prosper beyond belief. Their standard of living would increase exponentially, immediately. Imagine debt without interest. Naturally, you would have to repay your debt, since the funds would have been provided by the people, your neighbors, throughout your nation, of course. But you would never be strapped with interest and compound interest and late fees and all the other life-stealing practices that are part of the current banking system. I would say that's a pretty novel idea, wouldn't you? So, political parachutes. What do I mean? Political parachutes would be an absolute must when trying to institute a new, fair way of life. It's always good to have a collective of thinking individuals to help lead us into the future. In my proposal, every politician voted in place would be equipped with one of these parachutes. The parachute would consist of a clause where enough signatures would have that person removed from their office, and their alternate would immediately assume the position until a new election was required. No politician would be exempt, and therefore no need for power struggles, no need for backstabbing or money from the elites of the country. As soon as that politician started to act on behalf of an individual and not on behalf of the whole, their parachute would be pulled. This would have all politicians indebted to the people who put them there, and not to any outside influence or nefarious motives. No outside country could interfere in your elections by handing money to one candidate or the other. Guys, it's time. No more Citizens United. Kick that to the curb. Since when does a corporation become a human being? And by its money, be able to purchase politicians all over? No more. That's got to go. Immediately. You can lobby the government, of course. You can plead your case and tell them what you feel would be best for the country. But it is not their final decision, because they'll get booted. So you may get one win, but you won't get the second. That's for sure. So be sure to watch episode 65, part 2, to hear the conclusion of this money confusion. Please help further our cause by hitting that like button and subscribing for future content. Become a member and crush that bell while you're at it so you miss nothing going forward. Disclaimer, our channel is factually informed opinion and not alternative fact type either. Questions will be answered if you're a subscribed member of this channel. However, your suggestions are more than welcome, and that includes your critical analysis. Leave your respectful comments, suggestions, critical analysis, and questions of further topics you'd like covered in the comments section. Be respectful. A special thanks from Clyde and the crew to all of you beautiful thinking people out there. A shout out to our sponsor, Baden Optical in beautiful Ontario, Canada. Once again, good folks, I must say, we never give up and we never give in. And remember, keep an open mind because knowledge is your power. So do your research and maintain your power. Until next time, thank you for spending time with us here on this channel. Please stay safe and healthy. And above all, try your best to remain as happy as humanly possible. Thank you once again.